Good afternoon, students. Today we are going to discuss about a few basic passive microwave components. In the last class we have discussed about what are active and passive components. So today we will see. So isolator is a two-port device and a non-reciprocal device. We know what a two-port device is. So now what is a non-reciprocal device? When an input is given through port 1 and we receive output at port 2. So this is basically what will happen. And similarly, when you are giving some input at port 2, that has been received at port 1. Okay, so this is the condition for reciprocity. Is it not? Now, a non-reciprocal device is something that is happening only when input is given at port 1 and the output is taken at port 2. Whereas when you give some input at port 2, you don't have or you don't receive any output at port 1. So that is a non-reciprocal device. So this a non-reciprocal device has an advantage which has been used in microwave bench setups or any of the microwave systems. Okay, so what is the need for this non-reciprocal device? So we know that microwave source is dealing with high energy, right, or high frequency. So this high frequency or high energy is having a tendency of scattering. So the signals will be scattered. Therein it is going to affect the system performance, or it will also need to lead to EMI. EMI is nothing but electromagnetic interference. So we need to avoid this condition of EMI, and hence we are going to use, or this condition is not going to be completely avoided. We are just going to have some preliminary measures for stopping the scattering. So next to your microwave source, wherever we have a microwave source, next to that we are going to include an isolator. So as we know, isolator is a non-reciprocal device. So what is happening? Whatever you are giving at port 1 is going to come out through this port 2, and any reflections that is coming from the load, okay, any reflections that is coming from the load will not be reaching your microwave source. So thereby your microwave source condition has been maintained. Okay. Technically speaking, your microwave source is very expensive and it is very complicated to build up because it's generating a very high frequency, very high energy. So we should not damage the microwave source. So we are going to use an isolator here, which is going to avoid this condition. Okay. So now we'll see the working principle of an isolator. So now let us say we have an isolator. So this is port 1 of my isolator, and next to this you have a twist here. Okay, there is a 45-degree twist, and so this is port 2. Okay, so we have a TE10 mode energy that has been transmitted, and here we have a ferrite rod. Now let me say what's the need for this ferrite rod. A ferrite rod is working under the principle of Faraday's rotation. For Faraday's rotation you'll need ferrite rod, and this ferrite rod is going to rotate my signal for 45 degrees in anti-clockwise direction. So here you have a 45-degree twist. Okay, and this is my magnetic field which is passing in this direction, and this is port 2. And one more thing is the resistive card we need to include. Okay, so this is my resistive card. So what does this resistive card basically do? Whenever you have a signal, so let me say this is my resistive card. The signal that I am going to transmit through the isolator if it is perpendicular, to the resistive card, okay, then that signal will be propagated or it will be passed through the resistive card. And whenever it has been parallel to the resistive card, so that has been observed, okay, so that signal has been observed. So now let's see what is happening when a signal is passing from port 1 to port 2, okay. So now this is my signal that is entering port 1, so that will first meet with the resistive card. So my resistive card is perpendicular to the signal that is entering, and hence the signal will passed on, as we have seen here. So it has been passed on. Next comes my 45-degree twist. So what will happen to my 45-degree twist? So that's going to twist it on the other end. Actually, my signal is supposed to be like this, but what happens? It has been twisted to 45 degrees in this direction, okay. And next, now we have a ferrite material or a ferrite rod here. So what will happen? It is going to twist the actual signal which is coming in to 45 degrees in anti-clockwise direction. When here, now you have to note down, I am going from port 1 to port 2. So what will happen? My signal is here, so that has been twisted to in this direction back again. So it was like this, and it is again twisted back to its original position when it is coming from the when it is passing through the ferrite rod. And next is my resistive card. Again the same first condition applies, because the energies that has been propagating is perpendicular to the resistive card, and hence I am going to have a 90-degree signal that is coming out of port 1, okay. So whatever I am giving at port 1, it is reaching port 2. So this is my first case 1, okay. Now coming to case 2. Case 2 is when an energy is transmitted from port 2 to port 1. Let us take the same condition. My TE10 mode, it has been propagated through port 2. Now it comes across the resistive card. Since these two are perpendicular to each other, that energy is being transmitted. Now it comes to the ferrite rod. What will happen? Ferrite rod, it has to tilt it for 45 degrees. So it is going to tilt it for 45 degrees, and hence I am going to have some 45-degree angle this side, okay. And next is my 45-degree twist. So what will happen? Already my signal is in an angle of 45 degree, and once I have a twist of 45 degree here, then it becomes like this. So this is again another 45 degree, and this becomes like this. Now what? Now you see we have a resistive card. My signal is here, okay, of which is 45 degree. Now these two are in parallel to each other. So what will happen? It comes to the second condition. When my resistive card is parallel to the signal that has been propagated, my signal will be observed. So ultimately, what is the output here? You have zero energy, okay. So we don't receive any energy at port 2. So that is what I mentioned in the previous example. Like when you have a microwave source, and a load, I am going to include an isolator in between. So whatever energy I am giving here, that has been transmitted to the load. But in case if you have any reflections from the load, that is not entering through your isolator, which might affect your power source. Okay, so this condition has been avoided when you are using an isolator. So this is the basic advantage of using an isolator in any of the microwave pen setups or any of the microwave systems. Okay, so now next is your S parameter. S parameter for the isolator, 2-port isolator is given as S11, S12, S21 and S22, whereas in numerics it is 0, 0, 1 and 0. Why it is all 0 here? Because it is assumed that an ideal case and you don't have any refractions from any of these ports. So you just have only one signal at this port alone when an energy is transmitting from port 1 to port alone. So this is the S matrix for an ideal case 2-port isolator. So in tomorrow's class, we'll be discussing on what a circulator is. Circulator is a 3-port device, so that again has the principle of your isolator. It's going to use a ferrite rod inside. Again, we'll be discussing that operation as well in the next class. Okay, thank you and have a good day.